today we got a cool little upgrade for, I haven't really shown you guys this, or anybody really, since I don't post on YouTube anymore, but this is the GFC topper. So this is just a topper, basically like a camper shell. Super cool. Got the beef bar upgrades right here. Sometimes these doors are a little finicky, but pop them like that and boom. Just like that. So kind of the main point of today's video, I mean, I'll show you guys this kind of later. I'll do like an updated actually build walk around because I have done quite a bit to this truck since the last one that I never uploaded. So I'll do kind of go over this, maybe a little bit in this video, but this video mostly will be an install video for the Diode Dynamics Stage Series rock light scene light kit. So shout out to John from Diode. He actually hooked it up with these. These are the new Diode Dynamics rock lights right here. They can go from white to red. So reason I chose red was for like a scene light. Red's really good for when you're camping and stuff like that for bugs. Kind of keep the bugs down, especially if you go camping a lot, like, you know, there's lots of bugs. I always forget to pack bug spray, so I always have to deal with them. But the red light is supposed to help with kind of repelling bugs. So I got a total of 4, 2 on each side. I'm gonna mount one here, and then I'm gonna mount another one here. The trickiest part for this, I think, will be the installation of the wiring. My buddy Paxton actually printed me out some little clips that will go into the actual GFC rails and hold my wires in place so that they're not that big of an issue. But again, I'm trying to do this with no drilling, no cutting, not really cutting any corners or anything like that. So I want to make it look as nice as possible and not look tacky. A big thing with like any wiring kit or project is the way you run the wires is definitely the make or break it, because you can have lights, but if they look like crap when you wire them in, then it kind of just, you could definitely tell someone installed them and did it. So with it being a DIY, I'm gonna try to do my best to make it, you know, look as nice as possible, and also show you guys like what I did to kind of help with the wiring. The biggest thing that I'm worried about is right here on these corners, this is a hard lip. Like this is like this protrudes out, so it's not gonna be like, I can just easily just wire it here. You'll see the wires here, but again, I'd rather see the wires here than have the wires like have to drill through the actual side of the GFC or anything like that. I do have some Adel clamps, 1/4 inch Adel clamps, that will also help to keep the wires in like this corner. Let's say like I could take one of these bolts out, put an Adel clamp on it, put the wires through it. That way I can, you know, make sure the wires aren't wiggling around, aren't moving too much, and aren't moving like crazy. So yeah, that'll kind of be it. The way that I'm gonna actually hook these up is with this scene light kit. This includes the angled brackets at one. So we got the Diode Dynamics angled rock light right here. So you see in the middle, it's got a threaded insert for the actual rock light to screw into, and then you got 2 holes. I'm sure you could probably just use one, but I'm gonna use both. The hardware that I have to actually mount it to the GFC is GFC's extrusion like kit. You can buy these online. I don't remember how much they were, but I'm using the smaller one. They have different sizing that you can look on their website, but I'm using the super thin one with the little tiny bolts. I did end up putting a washer on these I do have one mounted on the other side, but I did end up using a washer to kind of help keep it in place. So you got the mount right here. These are like the shorter plugins. So I'll probably be definitely using those. These ones are a little longer. I do have some leftover connectors from my 8 pod kit, because I am running their actual rock light kit for the rest of the truck. 2 splitters. I do actually have extras of these. So I have those ones, and then I have a couple extra ones from the actual rock light kit as well. So I'll be kind of using a mixture of a lot of this stuff. Again, I'll kind of go over at the end exactly what I did to, you know, actually make this work. So you see you got 3 rock lights here. There's one already on the truck. I'm gonna move that one. Kit also does come with a bunch of zip ties. Again, zip ties are key if you wanna make your installation look good and actually look like, not like a rat's nest. Speaking of rat's nest, I still have not fixed the rat's nest that's in my engine bay. I will get to that eventually. Here are the dowel clamps that I was referring to. These are, I think they're 1/4 inch if I remember correctly. It might be a little bigger. I'm going to be using a lot of these on the corners because I know that this is more secure than just using a zip tie mount. I like this because, again, it'll make it look more of a cleaner, more finished install. And again, the reason why I like these ones so much is because they have the rubber. So this won't dig into the wire and cause any issues as far as like if the wires move and any rubbing occurs. I won't just cut through those wires. Again, when you're dealing with electrical, you do run the hazard of, if you're kind of doing a shoddy install, you can don't cut corners. Just make sure you do it right the first time. You don't want to go back and fix it again afterwards. Hence why I'm kind of just taking my time in doing this. Why this is taking as long as it has. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to mock up where the lights are going to go and get those at least mounted to the camper itself. That way we can figure out the wiring. So again, we're going to wire this in, or we're not wire it in. We're going to mount them first. When it comes to mounting this stuff, it's pretty easy. I'm going to use red Loctite on the bolts that actually go to from the mount, the rock light mount, to the actual GFC, so there's no chance of them to move. These mounts and the track nuts are weird. Or the mounts are good. The track nuts are a little weird. They're kind of look at them here. They've got kind of this strange design here. So what this does is basically when you're turning it to tighten it, it locks it into position like that. And it technically shouldn't move. But again, just because something shouldn't move doesn't mean it won't. So extra precaution, I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite. Again, I'm going to use red Loctite on this. Yes, it'll make it hard to take it off. But again, once I do this, should never have to take it off again. You are mounting this. You do have to put the actual rock light on there so that you can run the wire through there and run it back this way. Since when it's sitting up on the T-channel, if you install this mount before, you're not going to get, good luck, you're not going to get this through there and be able to run the wire, since the connector itself right here is bigger than the actual hole that the T-track and the bracket itself have in between it. So make sure you put the rock light in there. Again, once it's on there, you shouldn't drop it. But again, if you were to just like go there, it will drop, so be careful. Again, when you're tightening anything and mounting anything, do not use an impact to start do not use an impact or a drill to start your threads. You can if you want, but then you're more likely going to run the risk of actually cross-threading stuff. And again, that's frustrating. And again, I'm not speaking out of my lack of experience. I'm speaking out of tons of experience of cross-threading stuff, because I have rushed projects and just got frustrated and wanted to get it done, and then I got it done the wrong way because I have cross-threaded things. So just take your time. Unless you really need to go fast, then go ahead. But again, the faster you go, the more likely you are to have future problems down the road. So rock light wire here. Boom. Just like that. Making sure it's not getting pinched underneath, and boom. It's good to go there. And then got the first hole lined up. And again, I don't have the little wrench on here right now. I'm just doing this by hand so that I can line this up perfectly. There we go, nice and snug, and boom, look. Okay, so here's another step I forgot to do. So, since we are wiring them all together, so that the one in the rear right here will connect to this one right here, and then I'm going to run the wires across the back top of it, and then over to the other side. So I did forget an important step. I did forget to put the extension wire from that one, because I got to run it underneath this one right here with the other wire. So I forgot to do that, so I got to go ahead and take this one off. And again, I kind of just butted this up against, there are torque bits in here that hold the aluminum extrusion together to the actual top. So I just butted it up really close to it. That way I know they're the exact same on every single side. That way I don't have to do any measurements. My OCD is not gonna drive me nuts because I didn't install them all on the same side or in the same exact spot. Okay, now we're gonna do the tricky part where on this side you will need a wire both this, the rock light wire that's going on this mount, as well as the wires that are underneath for the extension from the other rock light from the very far back to go underneath this mount. And again, we should fit here with a good enough amount of clearance. I'm gonna make sure that your wires are situated in a way where they're not gonna cause issues. There we go. Okay, both of the wires, and again, it could be easier if you use somebody else to kind of hold the wires in spot, but as you can see there, I was able to do it myself. Okay, there we go. The other rock light, or the other mount is in its correct spot. Just twist it in there. Again, push them up all the way so they have the max amount of clearance possible. That one's good right there. Sweet. So now you got both wires. You got the rock light that's on this mount right here, this wire hanging out there, and then this wire from the other side also holding it in. This is like the biggest issue right here, is that it'll just, when you're driving on the freeway, if this is loose, it'll just make a bunch of wind noise and stuff because you'll hear it. So that's where I have these nifty little mounts that I found actually on a 3D printed website that somebody made already. Clip it in. And that wire is not going anywhere. Like, it is firm. And to kind of show you how it'll look when the lights are on, we're gonna just hook it up on the other side. So I have the wires pretty much ran. I'm gonna dial this side in a little more, but just plug in the little harness I have here to a Milwaukee battery, negative, positive. You gotta see what I'm, kind of see what we're dealing with here. Yeah. So they're red, white, and again, this will cast a pretty good amount of light. I mean, they're not bolted in right now, but, and again, it's really bright outside, so you can't really tell, but these would be super nice, especially when you're going down a super dusty road, or like you're crawling around at night. You want extra lighting as well too. It's gonna look super sick. Really kind of illuminate the area. Kind of want to see if we can like add some of these to the underneath the mirror somehow. I see that they have them for like the 3rd gen, but I don't know of anybody that makes them for the 2nd gen. But maybe it's something we'll have to look into. But yeah, super stoked. I mean, the wiring. Again, take your time. Yeah, and if you have questions, DM me on Instagram. But yeah, that's gonna be super sick. Boom. See, that actually looks really good. So you can kind of tell that, you can see they're there, obviously. But again, it's not. With it being clear, I mean, I have so much clear on this truck anyways as it is. So red. It's gonna really throw a nice diffused red light. Super nice for camping. Kind of look yellow on the camera, but they're red. Trust me, they're red. And then white. And then again, the white will be the most amount of light. You'll throw a ton more light. And again, I have all white as my rock lights underneath the truck. I do actually want to swap them to the color changing mode. I would like to do the white and amber, because that is another option for the dual color rock lights. But we'll do that eventually one day, I think. But yeah, looks good. Now we just got to button up the wiring, install the other ones on the other side, and should be good to go. And then try to see if we can get some night clips here of these installed. All right, so now we have 1, 2, and then kind of show you what I did with the wiring. So I tucked it in inside the channel. You can't really see it that well because it's black, but it's right there all along. So the back one goes underneath the front one right here. It's underneath the mount right there, around there, and then having a Dell clamp right there holding both those wires. And then you can kind of see, right, I don't know if you can see right here, the 3D printed mounts that I had my buddy make to hold the wires actually in place. And then let's go around here to the other side of the truck. Boom, one more. And then the final one, and same thing. A wire runs from the back one underneath the mount right there, goes around, and then it goes to the other Dell clamp right there, which again, this Dell clamp has 4 wires going into it. It's got the 2 from here and these 2 going down, clamped in right there, and then it runs along here to another Dell clamp that I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's right there. where I took one of the screws that holds the back panel onto the actual rest of the camper, so that way it is nice and clean. It doesn't have any issues further down the line. Then it runs down there. And then I actually changed the location of to where I was going to put the button. I was going to put it originally in the truck bed, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a great spot. However, I'm going to actually run it into the cab, and I already did. I went underneath the, there's like a rubber grommet underneath the middle of the cab right there, underneath the rear seats, that I have a wire already through, so I just made the wire the hole a little bigger, ran the wiring for the 3-position switch, and then I'm going to actually drill a hole right here in the side of the center console, so that in the cab when I'm driving, I can switch it from red to white, rather than having to deal with it being in the cab or in the truck bed. Ideally, I think that'll be a better spot for it in the long run. So I kind of ran the wires up through the hole in the rear seat, and then underneath the carpet, and then up underneath the console right here on the other side, on the passenger side, and then I'm going to drill a hole here, put the switch there, and then that should be the final resting spot for that. Again, I did wire it into my switch panel. I don't have a D switch. I have an aux beam switch. Reasoning why is so that I can strobe these. So with the aux beam or any panel, really, they all have strobe features. So I decided to put it to the switch panel, which again, I had to turn that switch on the panel itself and then switch the button into either white or red. Most of the time it'll be on white, except when I'm camping, I'll put it on red. And that's pretty much it for this install, I guess. Overall, it's pretty easy. Again, take your time. I can put a link to all the parts in the comments down below. But again, super awesome that Diode makes these angled brackets. Again, used to be great for campers. Again, this is on a topper, a GFC topper. But again, it'll be very similar to do this for the camper. The only thing with the camper is you have the overhang right here for the tent. So that might be the only issue. Again, you could just use like zip tie mounts that have 3M on the back of them, and stick them up on the underside, and then run the wire through like this. Again, reason I ran everything like this is so I don't have a bunch of connectors everywhere. Again, there's one connector there, and then a connector right here for this light, and then same with that side. There's 2 on the outside, and then the rest of the connectors are hidden actually underneath the truck, so you can't see it. And like, again, just looking at it, you can't really tell there's wires there, and everything looks clean in my opinion. If it doesn't look clean, I guess don't let me know. Super nice for camping. I'm gonna flip this here real quick. Off. White. Dang, that's pretty bright. So we got these 2 right here. Again, like, since they're mounted so high, they throw a pretty good shadow or a pretty good light. And right here, like in there, and they're lighting up a pretty good part of my neighbor's driveway. But yeah, these are pretty dang bright, man. Stoked to have these on. Again, when we're off-roading at night and stuff, I can turn these on as well too, to kind of see some obstacles on the side. But again, we'll turn the rock lights on as well, and boom, lights for days. This is so sick. I am running 9 total lights. I have 1 underneath the bed right there, 1 in each wheel well, and then 2 underneath the cab. So I got a lot of light. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's install. And again, truck has the camper now. I did option it with the windows, both front and rear, and then the beef bars. And again, I went with white. I really love the white on white look, especially with the polished wheels right there. And then I don't know if these were on there the last time. The Clears by Kai clear taillights for the 05 through 15 Tacoma. These things are sick. Good dude based in Hawaii. Love my set that I have. Might be changing it up here in a bit, but more info on that later on. But yeah, try to record more stuff that I actually do rather than just not recording anything. Ended up having to do that because my fender flare blew off on the freeway. And luckily it was still there the next day, so I grabbed it, but a lot of the clips were broken, so I had to do that there on the corner. Hasn't flown off again, so super nice. Again, it's kind of how the truck sits. I was actually in an accident not too long ago, and ended up dinging up this side of the truck right there. The bumper took a brunt of it right there, but overall, like, the truck's still running and kicking pretty good. looks good in my opinion. Again, some people might not like it. Again, build the truck to how you want it rather than what other people think looks good. Because again, you're the one paying for it. You're the one that's going to be using it the most. So, but yeah, it's looking good. You might want to switch up the lights here a bit. Diode did just release their dual color fogs. So I may switch that up in the front so I can have white and yellow. So right now I just have the covers. I have to switch it from white and yellow, but again, it's kind of a hassle to use. But again, still a good option for a lot cheaper than having to buy a whole new set of fogs. But we'll see about that. Other than that, that's kind of it. I'll do a more in-depth build walk around because I did change up the bed setup. There is some cool stuff in there now. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Again, any questions and stuff about my install and the lights, just give me a DM on Instagram. That's just Jose Dungan on Instagram now, not 86taco. RIP. Still have that as my plate, but yeah.